Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to Walk the Talk Sports here at Encore. Alex, we finally made the big room. We're here at Encore, and really a live audience, but once again, we, Walk the Talk Sports, is the best sports talk show south of the Big Apple, east of the city of brotherly love. That's it. And today is a special event. We have a marvelous guest here with us. Most of you know him as the community manager in-house, but we are going to take you on a tour of Jim Snyder outside the village and what makes him tick. Jim, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to start off with two simple questions. In your younger stages, what sports did you play when you were younger?
We played them all.
Sports?
We played them all. Back in our old neighborhood, we used to play neighborhood against neighborhood, whether it was football, basketball, soccer, baseball.
Wow.
But growing up, I was a little league kid. I was a soccer kid. I played soccer and baseball in high school. I actually played baseball in college. I always say I went to school to play baseball.
What position?
I was a middle infielder.
All right.
So,
okay.
And a funny story, if I can share it with you, I had one of the best high school coaches there ever was. And he used to do things that in these days, no way you can get away with. We were middle infielders. So we had a pretty hefty kid, name was Kevin. They used to start him in between first and second. Hit us, everybody knows what the fungo is, the fungo bat. He used to hit us ground balls, the middle infielder, whether I was at second or short. With him starting halfway through, his job was to take us out on a double play. So what it did, it gave us quick hands. It gave us the opportunity to get the ball and get rid of it. A saying my coach used to have is put your meat hand in the glove. So whenever you received the ball on a double play, you had both hands in there, get rid of it. Nowadays, you can't even take out a middle infielder.
You got to slide
Rules
like 10 feet ahead of the bag.
We were the best sliding team in the conference. He used to stand at home plate with a fungo bat again and swing the bat as we'd come in, and we'd have to slide right under it.
Wow.
So those days are over. You're not even allowed to.
If parents heard that today, forget it.
Without a doubt.
And now, what teams?
I'm a Met fan.
Oh, wait. Audience, you Yankee fans out there, the San Diego Padre fan here, what did he just say?
I am a Met fan.
That's it. That's what we want to hear. Yeah, that's it.
Always been a Met fan. Football, I like two teams. I like the Giants. As a kid, I was a Miami Dolphin fan growing up. Kind of faded away from them as I grew up. However, another good story, through refereeing basketball, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, I met a kid called Mike Gesicki. He is actually the tight end for the Miami Dolphins.
Yes.
I refereed him in basketball from when he was 5 years old up through high school. His dad and I played on the same men's basketball team for years and years. So I found my heart going with Miami, following Mike through his success. They didn't use him as much this year as I would have liked them to, but
quarterback,
he's a tight end.
I know that, but I'm saying the quarterback was out.
And the new coach came in. They had a new game plan. They have wide receivers that are amazing. Tariq Hill, Waddle. Right. So they've been getting most of the action. But he's a free agent, so we'll see who I'm rooting for next year.
I think last year or 2 years ago, I had him on my fantasy. He put up some good points for me.
He did. So
yes.
That's my sports history there.
Okay.
But I think the main reason why they brought me in here is about my other passion in life other than Leisure Village West. I've been here 39 years, so I'm married to you guys as much as you're married to me. But I referee basketball. I've been a basketball referee for over 25 years, probably even a little longer. I was in the college ranks for 9 years, but as my career progressed through Leisure Village West, it did not allow me to leave work as early as I needed to. With a college game, you have to be there 2 hours before, and a game may be 7 o'clock at night. You have to be there at 5 o'clock. It could be in Delaware or New York or Pennsylvania or North Jersey, South Jersey. So as my career progressed, I couldn't use my time to leave, so I gave that up. But still doing high school ball. I've been doing that.
Because that was one of my questions. What level did you get up to as far as refereeing? But that's
where I am now.
Wow.
I strictly do high school ball night right now. Our joke amongst our officials is we get older every year, they stay the same age.
True.
So we're still chasing those 17, 18-year-old, 16, 17, or 18-year-old student athletes up and down the floor every night.
The game has changed a little bit with three-pointers, you know, it's a little...
Well, I always had three-pointers when I played, so I don't know what you're saying.
You had... no driving?
So still today, you're still high school?
Still today. I have
Local high school?
I have a game tonight, a pretty good game. Rumson Fairhaven hosting Red Bank Catholic. So that'll be a good game. I've had some really exciting experiences in refereeing high school basketball. I've done 2 Tournament of Champion finals. If you don't know what that is, you play in your regular conference, like the Shore Conference is what we are. Correct. If you win the Shore Conference, you go into the state tournament. Then you win your group, then you win your section. Then they take all the winners of the sections and they have a pool called the Tournament of Champions. And then they do one final game, which the 2 games I've done were at Sunbelt Arena in Trenton.
Okay.
And it was the 2 top high school teams in New Jersey playing each other, and I was honored to have that game twice.
Wow.
So that's my highlight for my high school career, but I've done Shore Conference finals, state sectional finals, group finals.
We're going to talk a little bit about, I have in the Shore Conference, something we'll discuss later, is I have actually the top 10 schools. It's funny, I was, the school you just mentioned you're referring to, I think it's tonight.
Either Red Bank Catholic?
No.
Rumson Fairhaven.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk, I actually have the top 10 boy and girl teams in the Shore Conference. And I mean, as you can see, Rob and I, on a side note, we're sporting the high school gear today. You know, Manchester, they're not in the top 10, but they allowed us to. They gave us some gear to wear today, so we're sporting the local high school here in Manchester Township.
Thank you.
So you've got Manchester basketball.
Just last week, I probably officiated the best high school game I've ever done. Even doing even doing the Tournament of Champions. I did a girls game a couple weeks ago. It was #1 in the country, Long Island Lutheran against St. John Vianney. It was #1 against #11 in the state. I mean, in the country.
Wow.
And it was the most exciting.
Who won?
St. John Vianney upset them.
Always, man.
Vianney is a great program.
They are known for girls softball. I know that.
And girls basketball.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
That gym was packed. You couldn't hear anything. So
That's
exciting.
Awesome.
You had to blow your whistle so hard just so the athletes could hear you. Matter of fact, I told the coach, you know, it was great because you couldn't hear the coaches argue at all. So it was wonderful, and trust me,
that's a good thing.
They're in your ear the whole time. You know, they're trying to get the best they can. They argue about this call, not because of that call. They want the next call.
That's right.
So that's what they're doing. But I had to tell them, if you guys need a timeout, I need you to vocal, get on the floor, give me a sign because I can't hear you. So it was just the best atmosphere.
And it was really a regular season.
It was a showcase game.
Okay.
We do a lot of college showcase. That's big now in high school. That's where you get exposed. You do they really don't come to your regular season games, but they go to those showcases because a college coach can go there and they can see.
It's easier for them
they
to
can
recruit.
see 10, 12 athletes from different teams by going to one site.
Wow. Anything else, Captain?
It's funny to to hear Jim talk about these schools. I actually had jotted down stuff, the top 10. I have, like, last week, I mean, this is the Shore Network talking, of course, but, last week they had the teams of the week. Last week was Southern for boys and Manasquan girls were the teams of the week last week.
Right.
But I'm going to go over the top 10 a little bit later.
Okay.
But it's funny that he mentioned the Rumson Fairhaven.
Now,
Yeah.
Jim, you played baseball, but
did.
why referee basketball? Why not an umpire?
That's a
Right.
great question. Although I was certified to do high school baseball
Oh, okay.
and softball forever,
Right.
it's not as exciting
Yeah, up and down.
to officiate.
Right.
It's,
Right.
your baseball, unless you're the home plate umpire calling
It's
balls and
constant.
strikes,
Yeah.
99% of the plays, you don't need us there to
Yeah.
call. It's obvious.
Yeah.
But basketball, it's split-second decision. Is it a block? Is it a charge? Every second you blow the whistle hundreds of times a game. It's just more exciting for me.
And you know what? And I remember when I used to referee hockey, playoff time, even you're a referee, you get up. It's
you get
something
pumped.
different. Yeah, you can't wait to blow that whistle and go.
You're excited.
Yes.
And they ask, do you get butterflies? Yeah, you still
Oh,
get
yeah.
butterflies.
Sure you do.
But as soon as you toss that ball up, you're focused. Your adrenaline is going. You're involved. It's just the adrenaline. I'm an adrenaline junkie with
Now,
that.
my
And
last question, do you do any mentoring for younger referees?
We
or?
do.
Okay.
I'm part of Shore Board 194. That is our Monmouth Ocean County organization I belong to. And we do. We have mentor-mentee programs.
That's great. That's
we
great.
have to administer floor tests to see if they're ready. You have to be a high school official for so many years before you're eligible for varsity.
Wow.
And
It's
you have to do 5 years. You have to be an official before you can do a varsity game. You can do 8th grade, you can do freshman, you could do JV, but not until you have 5 years experience. And our assigner is wonderful. He's not going to put you on a game that either you're going to fail on or he's going to get a phone call
It's
with,
too big for you,
who did
right.
you send?
Right.
So, I am so honored to get that game I got the other night. It shows me
two
that they had the
top
confidence
schools,
that
yeah.
I can do that.
True.
And it's a great stress release, which we all need that, trust me.
Especially from this place, right?
So,
Everyone?
it's a
Yes.
great-
Let's hear it.
I can shut my mind off, for 4 quarters,
Right.
even though my phone's in the locker room, and at halftime I check it to make sure nothing's blowing up.
Is that Murph again? No, it's not.
And but it keeps
good.
me in somewhat of shape by my exercise and be ready.
Right. You gotta be, that's
and
right.
I had 2 knee replacements and I'm still officiating.
Good for you. Good for you. Damn. You could never.
So outside of basketball, I have one quick question, and I think we have a question from an audience member. And it just pertains to this weekend. I'm asking you, who do you like this weekend, and who do you like in the last
Who's your
game?
2 teams in the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm a players guy. I like Mahomes. I just love what he does. I love his athleticism. But I'd like to see Kansas City. I am a Giants fan, so not really an Eagles fan.
Okay.
But I tend
You
to
could have it
think
worse. I'm a Jet fan,
I
so
tend
let's
to
not go
think
that way.
Let's
not go that way.
It's going to be the Eagles and Kansas City, even though Burrows. We have a lot of talent going on this
Yeah.
weekend. So,
Right.
Yeah.
It could be either team.
Yeah,
You're right.
we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I mean, I trend with. I mean, man, Mahomes in Kansas City is tough to beat.
And he's injured, and
And he's
still.
injured. It's gonna limit him to staying in the pocket a lot, but yeah, it is what it is.
Kelsey.
But I truly think that
But Cincinnati can put up numbers.
I think that the Niners can beat the Eagles, even in Philadelphia. But that's just me.
No.
I'm saying Niners, Chiefs, and I'll go from there. I'm not going to pick a winner yet.
And I just saw, it's funny because the percentage of who could win, they have Kansas City with a better percentage to win than the Eagles do. So that plays right. It's 65, 63 or whatever it is. But
I think the only favoring the Eagles is that you still have on the 49ers that young quarterback.
Yeah.
And plus, they're playing in Philadelphia with that crowd.
But how
so you
awesome!
Don't know.
How awesome is that to step in?
Oh, I cannot believe the job this gentleman did. Really, Cody, I can't. Yeah. I just can't.
That's the one thing that worried me too. Rob just said. I was talking today with some people. Is that in Philly? And I watched him last week. You know, when he had some freedom, there was some great stuff going on. I still think they can pull it off, but I think that if he gets really pressured, it could be a little bit tough for him to be in the back there.
I will enjoy watching it this weekend, and that's mainly because during the season, my wife is a huge fantasy player, and she's really good.
We should have on the show too.
She's really good. So the red zone is on all the time because you're watching every game.
That's right.
It's hard to. I have to go upstairs.
Music to my ears. That's it.
To watch my game when I watch it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that you and Rob are both Jets and Giants fans. But,
no, Met fans.
Well, I was talking football at first.
Oh, okay.
But even Mets, that's
the stinger right there, Gene. That's the stinger there.
We have the pitching staff now.
Right. So
we lost Carrera.
But I think that's going to be a mistake. But that's for another episode. That's for another show. Yeah.
But we do have a question from Mr. Kovar in the audience.
Kovar.
John,
step it up, sir.
Whatever the question is, it must not be about the Yankees, and please don't ask for your gutters to be cleaned. So go ahead.
Or a pizza oven.
All right.
After I ask you this question, I'll ask you a baseball question. What made you decide to become a referee?
I've always enjoyed playing basketball. I wasn't the best basketball player, but I was decent because I consider myself somewhat of an athlete. So my sports were always, baseball was my love. But I got involved when my children were young. I coached them. I assisted and helped out our local program officiating games. I found that I loved it. So we have to take a 2-year course in order to be a certified official. It's streamed down now, but when I did it a long time ago, it's 2 years. You have to take a course before you can officiate a game. So I just loved it. I fell in love with doing it. A buddy of mine went and took the test. It's 2 10-week courses, and then you have to take a floor test and then a written test. But I just fell in love with it, and I became a junkie of it.
Next question. How do you find the time to referee and do your busy job as community manager at KLVW?
Well, and it's funny you asked that because I had to go to my assigner with my new job, and I said I cannot do any games before 6:30 at night. And don't be surprised, I still want to officiate. I got a new job. That comes first. So any games, I can't do a 5 o'clock game. I can't do a 4:30 game because you never know what's going to happen at an end of the day. And I never want to leave until I'm done. Right. So 6:30 is good. If I'm still here at 6:30 at night, something's really going on. But he knows. If I call him and say, hey, something came up, I can't make it, or I have a meeting came up tonight, he's willing to work with me.
I have one baseball question.
And you know what's crazy, John, real quick, before you ask your last question, I laughed because the other night, it must have been 6:15. Sorry, 6:30. Rob and I are going to dinner.
I think it was later than that, Alex.
And we're going down Buckingham. And I said, look at that guy still in the office.
He's burning the oil.
Burning the oil. So, all right, go ahead.
One baseball question for you, though. Who won the 2000 World Series?
2000.
It's an easy.
It's
the Yankees,
meant
Mets,
that you
Subway.
got. Okay, that was the Subway Series.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a Subway.
The Yankees won that one.
Yeah.
So
it's okay.
I have to get back to my other job.
Guys, let's hear a round of applause for Jim. Spending some time. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys. As you know, we spoke briefly about football, but football is the mainstay now as far as the playoffs are concerned. I'll just do a simple recap as far as the Giants finally played a team with a defense. losing the game. I'd say, 38-7? Am I correct on that? Yes. But listen, all in all, the Giants had a great season. The future looks good for them if they re-sign their quarterback and their running back. But and I think next year they'll have some receivers. They'll have receivers on the offensive side of the ball for them. But go ahead.
Are the Giants are out of it?
Yeah. Can't you tell?
No, I can't, because daily I get text messages from freaking Murph about the Giants. I'm thinking, are they still in this thing? Because it's never ending. It's never ending. So. Yeah,
it's
all right.
But listen, the playoffs. I mean, it should be great. Kansas City, Cincinnati. It's going to be exciting. I'm rooting for Cincinnati because they've never won a Super Bowl, and the 49ers and the Eagles, it's going to be a good game also. But I think the Eagles are going to win because they have a little more experience and they're playing at home with a quarterback. But 49ers have a great defense. So, it can go either way. But I'm looking for two great games.
I said it earlier. I think it's going to be the Niners and the Chiefs. I would love to see Cincinnati as well, but it's just, again, that's another tough one in Kansas City.
Yeah,
I don't care
right.
if Mahomes has a twisted ankle or whatever. The guy's we talk about it. Someone's got to catch on to all that crazy last-minute flicking and fluttering and different things he does, but the guy does some magical stuff out there.
Yeah, he does. I mean, when you think you got him trapped, he'll pull something out of, he'll pull a rabbit out of a hat. He'll do his thing. But getting a little off track of the playoffs, I walked into the room this afternoon and I found out that the Jets hired an offensive coordinator, Hackett. Now, Hackett, for you football fans out there, used to be the offensive coordinator for who? Aaron Rodgers. Hackett is the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets, and guess who may be making driving down the turnpike pretty soon? Could be Aaron Rodgers. Yeah!
You might as well have Gene Murphy as your quarterback.
Look, anybody is better than what we've had.
All right.
I came in third place in TPK.
But honestly, I mean, as far as the quarterback pool, you got Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, you got I forgot, Ryan Tannehill. I mean, you got quarterbacks. Oh, one of my favorites, Jimmy G. I wouldn't mind him putting on a Jet jersey, so we'll see what happens.
I think we talked about last night. I heard rumors. I think that Lamar is looking to go to the Falcons. So, I mean, it could be wrong, but it looks like there's talk of him going to the Falcons. So.
Wow. Good. I mean, that's all right. What do we have? Is anything else you want to add to football?
No, I mean, I think you've talked about definitely talked about the teams that are this weekend. We talked about who we think is going to win the Super Bowl, who's going to be in it at least. I'm excited that. I'm jumping a little bit ahead. That we'll be in the same town as the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You and I.
About 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. That's it.
We're going to be in Phoenix, Rob and I, and it's going to be exciting. Rob keeps thinking we're going to bump into some kind of celebrity or something.
We are.
We'll see.
That's right. No, they're going to bump into us.
That's right.
They're going to bump into us. We're the celebrities.
Yeah.
Remember that.
All right.
All right. So football, we're off the topic of football. Now baseball, quiet until maybe another half a month or so, and then you'll get that warm breeze, hot air coming in again. It'll be the Yankee fans revving it up. Yeah. But the only thing that happened as far as my team is concerned, the Mets signed a fourth outfielder, Tommy Pham. Pretty good. He's steady. What?
Ex-Padre.
Yeah, but he's not an original ex-Padre.
Right.
He's an original St. Louis Cardinal.
Yeah, but he came from the Padres.
Well, talking about the Padres, we're going to have somebody else playing third base to, probably trading deadline is Machado for the Mets, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. Well, you don't want him. Okay. But that, anything, you want to add anything to baseball?
No, I was going to say it's exciting. We're 2 weeks away from pitchers, catchers.
Yes, that's right.
Meeting in spring training.
That's it.
So the only fun story I have is, I think it was like a week ago I read that it's just crazy that, so the Padres, Ethan Salas, so 16-year-old from Venezuela.
Oh, yeah.
He lived some of his life in Florida, but I watched an interview with this kid. Just a really sharp, for 16 years old. I mean, the way he interviewed on the camera. But the Padres, I mean, obviously, the Padres offered him a contract. One of the top prospects in the International League as a catcher.
I was going to ask you that, Alex. What position?
$5.6 million, 16-year-old out of Venezuela. Future prospect for the Padres, so they signed him a couple weeks ago. But it was fun to see the interview. He had no clue. He didn't even have a license yet. They asked him, "What are you going to do with $5.6 million?" But I know that he has a history. His brother, I think, is either in the Marlin organization or is an infielder for the Marlins. His father was a catcher as well. So he's got a family history of Major League Baseball. But to be 16 years old and get a contract for $5.6 million, pretty amazing deal.
You know, he'll probably fast track to the major leagues pretty soon because really, that's a talent. That is. Quickly, I'm just going to touch up on the NBA, the NHL, hockey. NBA, Celtics are still top dog in the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference, followed by the 76ers, the Nets, and the Knicks, and the Raptors. And that's it for the NBA. The NHL, the Boston Bruins are still top dog with 80 points, in the league. So that's still the top team. The Devils are still holding on. They're in second in the Metro Division. They are playing excellent hockey. New Jersey Devils continue to play, followed by the Rangers. And for John Culver, I don't hear any Islander fans out there lately, but I think they're tanking it a little. So I think they're the third from last. Yeah, there's the Flyers and then the Columbus Blue Jackets, but that's another story too. And that's a wrap on the NHL and hockey. Golf. Oh, unless you want to add something.
No, I'm not the hockey, I'm not the hockey guy.
Okay. Golf. Okay, since, our last show, John Rahm won the Century Tournament in Hawaii, shooting a 27 under. At the Sony Open in Hawaii, Sim Woo Kim won that tournament shooting an 18 under. And now in the American Express Open in California, Johnny Rahm, listen to this, won it again, shooting a 27 under. This week in the Farmers Insurance, that's it. Go ahead, Alex. I'll let you.
It's where I grew up.
I was out there a few years ago. It's a beautiful course right on the Pacific Ocean. La Jolla, California. I mean, just great. And I'll just give you the top money makers now for the FedEx Cup. Rory McIlroy is still the top dog. In the money, as far as money leader, it's Scotty Scheffler. And in the world ranking, it's Scotty Scheffler. So golf is warming up now. They're coming east a little bit. They started in Hawaii, like I said on our last show. They're in California. And really, believe it or not, they'll be in Arizona soon, baby.
That's right. Well, they got Torrey Pines, and then they got February 2nd through the 5th. They're in Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Ooh, that's another beautiful.
Then they come February 9th. Waste Management Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
Who has tickets at the clubhouse?
Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. But I'm just going to mention a little thing on car racing. Or do you want to mention Daytona?
Well, I got a little something. I mean, absolutely, NASCAR is getting ready to kick off. NASCAR fans. Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
So,
that's why.
They're actually kicking off February 5th. Sort of a new thing. I think they started it last year. So they have this Busch-like Clash of the Coliseum. They're literally like, if you imagine the LA Coliseum and you're putting a NASCAR track in there, so they literally have like 4 heat races. Then after that, you have like 2 last chance races, and then they have the final race. And they're just banging and bumping and going crazy in that Coliseum.
It's amazing because I picture like the chariots going around, like car, but it's cars, right? Exactly.
So you got the Clash of the Coliseum, and then obviously February 19th, you have the Daytona 500 for you. NASCAR.
Great, good.
Where do you want to go?
I'm good. You have it. You have the ball.
All right, let's talk some high school basketball. So I know we talked about it earlier when Jim was here. I'm just going to run down the top 10 boys and girls high school basketball. Starting at number 10. I have trouble with this New Jersey stuff.
I put it here.
Rainy.
Jeez.
Number 9, Jackson Memorial. Number 8, Toms River North. Number 7, Southern. Number 6, Rumson Fairhaven. I think that's the game that Jim talked about. He's getting ready to referee tonight. What did I say that was, 6?
Yeah.
Number 5, Point Pleasant Borough. Number 4, Middleton South.
Middletown, right.
Middletown South. Number 3, Raritan.
Right.
Number 2, St. Rose. And the number 1 high school, Manasquan. That's boys, right?
Manasquan, yeah, that's
so if we look
that's
at,
awesome.
Yeah, if we look at girls, what I do with my girls list.
That's on the bottom. Is it on the bottom?
Here we go. Number 10, Homedale. Ocean Township. Shore Regional. Again, Toms River North girls. Rumson Fairhaven again. Trinity Hall at number 5. Manasquan number 4. St. Rose 3.
Red Bank Catholic, RBC.
Number 2.
St. John Vianney.
Number 1 in girls basketball. So
Right.
that's your high school basketball. You know, like, again, I mentioned it earlier. I really appreciate it. I think Jack and Kathy Fuller, they hooked us up. I mean, they got the connections all over town. So the coaches at Manchester Township, I said, hey, why don't you give us some stuff? We'll sport your stuff today.
Yeah.
Little Manchester, shout out to Manchester. In my house, I got like 7 outfits in my house.
Wow.
So I grabbed 2 of them. We threw them on today to represent Manchester Township. So here we are, Manchester Township.
That's nice.
So I think I already mentioned earlier, obviously the teams of the week last week were boys were Southern, and the girls game of the week or team of the week last week was Manasquan. Before we stray off high school sports, the one thing I do want to mention, and you know, when you guys watch the show, I know every show I see that it shows both Rob and I's email at the bottom of the screen. I mean, a lot of you have reached out to us and given it, but we really want to talk about folks that live in the village. If you have family members, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, whatever, that have accomplished a lot of stuff in sports. And look, I'm getting really sick and tired about talking about my family. So, you know, we talked about our grandson in hockey, 3 or 4 weeks ago. But I want to give a great shout out to Priscilla's niece, Danielle. So her son, Noah, they live in New York. But you know, we watch this kid on Facebook and in some of the tournaments he's in, and you want to, an incredible athlete. He's a senior this year. At 6 years old, he really started out in jiu-jitsu. Cool. So as he got into high school, obviously his interest was wrestling. So he goes to Sierra High School in New York. I'm assuming Danielle lives up near Syracuse, so I'm assuming it's in that area. So
It's not Sienna.
Sierra High School? CERIO.
I know there's a Sienna.
My wife could have spelled that totally wrong, so I could be totally right. But anyways, 145-pounder, number 1 in the state of New York. His current team, his high school team, is undefeated. But just an amazing athlete. Priscilla and I get the opportunity to see the footage from him, and it's just crazy to see, a wrestler at a high school. I don't have any information. I don't know if, any college was looking at him, but 145-pounder, number 1 in the state of New York. Pretty amazing accomplishment. Pretty amazing accomplishment. So high school, that's all I got. A little, like I said, a little family news. I encourage you all to send us if you have any family members that have done, or whatever they're doing in sports, so that we can chat about it. And that's all I have for high school right now.
That's it. We're covered. We're
That's
good.
it?
That's it.
So
I promise, I know the soccer fans are here today. I promise next week we'll cover that. We didn't cover it this week because I didn't know how long we were going to have with Jim. But I promise you, soccer fans, please don't be mad at me. I will be there for you next week or the next show. Yeah.
We have one major soccer fan.
No,
We got
I'm
to
a
take care
soccer
of her
fan.
every show. We need to take care of her.
No, but see, you're missing the point. There are plenty of soccer fans that watch our show that I get, Rob, how come you didn't mention this? How come you didn't mention that? So, look, I hear it.
That's true.
It's my responsibility. No problem.
So look, real quick in closing, a couple things. First, I want to thank my You know, at one time in our lives, we were pretty athletic. We both played as sports,
Oh, yeah.
but obviously we're a
Referee.
little bit overweight right now. But I enjoy doing the show with you.
Oh,
right?
well, yeah, it's fun.
Right.
That's the main thing. It's
That's
fun.
right.
It's fun for us. It's fun for our
That's right.
audience. That's right.
But on a personal note, because the guy that sits beside me, who first invited me to do this with him, and the fun that we've had doing it together, on a personal note, whether you seek out good vibes or you're a person of prayer, I think that there's a power in prayer.
Yes.
And I'm just going to ask you now, because I'm not going to ask him to say something. I asked him if I could say something.
Yeah.
But if you could keep him in your prayers,
Right.
in your good thoughts. Obviously, his older brother today was diagnosed with
Cancer.
cancer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just keep Rob and his family as we move on after the show. I wanted to say it at the end because, the
Thank you.
show's about we're having a good time and everything else,
Yeah.
but we also need to, keep the ones that we love in prayer and in our good thoughts. So,
Yeah, I mean, he was, he's, of course, we heard early this morning, look, he taught me all this, so, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it, and Alex, thank you for mentioning that.
so take us
The
into your
power of
minds.
prayer, it'll work. Thank you. Thank you. So, with that said, everyone, thank you all for being here today. Like I said before, we made it to the big room. Thank you, Mike, Bill, KLVW crew. You all are great people. And once again, God bless Mike Rizio. And KLVW-TV is what is true and good for this village. You want me to say it?
I've never said it.
Why don't you say it once in a while? All right. Go ahead. Look straight ahead.
I got this Yankee guy looking right at me. Hey, keep it between the lines.
Yeah! That's it. That's it. Good. That was good. That was good. That was good. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that was super, super. Guys, thanks for coming.